Have you ever felt like your body was slowing down, but you couldn't explain why you're not in pain? You're not exactly sick, but something just feels off. You're more tired. Food doesn't taste the same. You forget small things more often. And you start to wonder, is this just aging, or is something bigger happening inside me? The truth is, many older adults experience these changes quietly until one day it all crashes. Doctors call it a health collapse, a moment when the body suddenly can't keep up anymore. But here's the good news: it rarely happens without warning. In this video, we'll walk through 9 early signs your body might be sending. They're subtle, but once you know what to look for, you can take action before it's too late. So stay with me, especially if you're over 65 and want to protect your energy, balance, memory, and independence. Before we begin, I'd love to hear from you. Where are you watching this video from, and what time of day is it right now? Drop a comment below, even if it's just a quiet moment in your day. I truly appreciate it. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next health tip made just for you. Most people think a health crisis happens in a single moment, like a heart attack, a stroke, or a fall. But for many older adults across the United States, the real danger builds quietly day by day, without fireworks or flashing lights. Doctors call it a health collapse, and it's not just one thing going wrong. It's when multiple systems in your body start to weaken at the same time: your heart, your digestion, your nerves, your immune system, and your muscles. Your energy fades. Your sleep feels shallow. You lose interest in food. Your memory isn't sharp. But because none of these symptoms feel like an emergency, it's easy to say, maybe it's just aging. So people wait, they wait too long. And by the time they get help, the body's overwhelmed. Let me give you a real story, something that's happened to many seniors in places like Michigan, Arizona, or right here in Florida. Mrs. Eleanor, 76 years old, used to walk every morning in her neighborhood outside of Tampa. But over a few months, she noticed her legs felt heavy, her breath was shorter, and even her oatmeal didn't taste right. She figured it was just part of getting older. But one morning she fainted in the kitchen. At the hospital, doctors found mild kidney stress, a silent infection, and dehydration. No single illness caused it. It was the slow collapse of systems that had been under strain for months. This is how a health collapse works. It's not one loud crash, it's a quiet sinking. It starts when your body no longer recovers fully from day-to-day stress. Your blood pressure wavers. Your blood sugar gets harder to manage. Your digestion gets slower. Over time, your immune system loses its edge, and you catch colds more easily, or they linger longer. At the same time, your nervous system doesn't respond as quickly. That's why balance becomes harder. Why a small step down from the porch in Minnesota suddenly feels like a risk. It's also why people feel foggy, because their brains aren't getting the same oxygen, nutrition, or sleep quality. The hardest part, many seniors don't talk about these things. They don't want to bother their kids or their doctor. But in the US, nearly 6 in 10 older adults experience symptoms of systemic decline before they ever get diagnosed. Here's the good news. A health collapse is not inevitable. With the right habits, hydration, movement, social connection, and mindful nutrition, you can protect every system in your body. Your heart, your brain, your gut, your bones, they're all connected. And every small choice you make today, whether it's a walk in your Ohio backyard or a phone call with a friend in Oregon, matters. So if you've been feeling not quite right for a while now, don't brush it off. Your body might be whispering before it shouts. And in America, where independence is treasured, your health is what allows you to keep it. You are not alone in this. Let's listen together so we can stay stronger longer. 9 signs doctors warn you about, and you can change today. Sign number 1, feeling tired even after a full night's sleep. Imagine this. You go to bed at 9:30 p.m. like always. You sleep through the night. You wake up around 6:00 a.m. There's no loud noise, no interruption, no bad dreams, and yet you still feel like your body weighs 100 pounds more than it used to. For many older adults across the U.S., from small towns in Nebraska to the suburbs of Georgia, this is a common experience. It's not laziness. It's not lack of discipline. It's your body quietly telling you that rest is no longer restoring you the way it used to. This kind of fatigue, persistent, unexplained, and deep, is one of the earliest signs of a hidden imbalance. Doctors often trace it to reduced function in the heart, lungs, or thyroid gland. You see these organs work together like a team. If your heart pumps less efficiently, your oxygen drops. If your thyroid slows down, your metabolism stalls. If your lungs are weaker, energy drains faster. And here's the frustrating part: your test results might still look normal, but you know something's off, and you're not imagining it. Chronic low energy is never just part of aging. It's a red flag, and it's worth talking to your doctor, especially if it's getting worse. So if you're waking up tired every day, even after 7 or 8 hours, don't ignore it. You're not just getting older. Your body might be asking for help. Sign 4: changes in breathing even during simple tasks. It might start with something small. You're folding laundry, reaching for a pot in the kitchen, or just walking to the mailbox, and suddenly you notice it. Your breath feels shallow. You take quick, short inhales like you've just climbed a flight of stairs. This isn't the kind of breathlessness that comes from a brisk walk or heavy lifting. This is different. It feels like your body is working harder than it should for simple things, and you can't quite explain why. Across many parts of the U.S., from retirees in Arizona to grandparents in Wisconsin, this is a common but often ignored sign. When your breathing changes without a clear reason, it can be your heart or lungs signaling a deeper issue. As we age, the heart muscle can become stiffer, pumping less efficiently. If your heart isn't delivering enough oxygen-rich blood, your body responds by gasping for air. It's subtle at first, but it can become dangerous if left unchecked. Similarly, your lungs may not expand as fully as they once did. Years of exposure to smoke, air pollution, or even mild asthma can catch up slowly in your 60s and 70s. You might not wheeze, you might not cough, but your breath will tell the truth, especially when you exert yourself. It's important to remember this: getting older should not mean feeling out of breath while putting on socks or tying your shoes. So if this sounds familiar, talk to your doctor. They can check your oxygen levels, your heart rhythm, and your lung function. Sometimes just adjusting a medication or adding a breathing exercise can make a world of difference. Sign number 5: loss of balance or unexpected falls, even in safe environments. Imagine this: you're walking through your living room. The floor is flat. There are no rugs, no pets, no obstacles, and yet you feel like the ground shifted. Your foot catches nothing, but your body stumbles. For many older adults in the U.S., this moment of imbalance feels both confusing and frightening. And the worst part, it often comes without warning. Falling is one of the leading causes of injury among Americans over 65. But before the fall happens, the balance system in your body sends clues. You might feel a little unsteady getting out of bed. You might reach for a wall while stepping into the shower. Why does this happen? It's not just age. Your balance depends on communication between your brain, your nerves, your muscles, and even your inner ears. If even one part of this chain weakens, the whole system becomes unreliable. For example, some blood pressure medications commonly prescribed in the U.S. can cause dizziness or delayed reaction time. Other times, it's nerve damage in the feet, often from diabetes, that blunts your ability to feel the floor. And sometimes the muscles in your legs lose strength faster than you realize, especially without regular movement. What's tricky is that the body doesn't announce these changes. It just quietly shifts your center of gravity one step at a time. So if you've been stumbling, swaying, or even sitting down faster than usual, your body is waving a flag. Don't wait for a serious fall to take action. There are balance tests, strength routines, and home safety checks that can help protect you without making you feel restricted. You've earned the right to move with confidence in every corner of your home. Let's keep it that way. Sign number 6: frequent colds, infections that linger or slow healing. Here's something few people talk about openly. When you catch a cold at 70, it doesn't always go away as quickly as it did at 40. That tickle in your throat might hang on for weeks. That small cut on your leg takes longer to scab over. You might even find yourself feeling tired for days after a mild infection. This isn't just inconvenient, it's a signal that your immune system may not be working at full strength. In the US, doctors have found that many seniors experience what's called immunosenescence, a gradual decline in immune function with age. What does that mean? It means your body takes longer to recognize and fight off viruses or bacteria. It also means inflammation may stick around longer than it should, making recovery slower and more draining. You may have noticed it after a flu shot didn't seem as effective as you hoped, or when you caught a cold from a grandchild and felt wiped out for 2 weeks. This doesn't mean you're weak, it means your immune system needs support. Factors like poor sleep, low protein intake, dehydration, and even loneliness can weaken your body's natural defenses. That's why older adults living alone, especially in colder states like Maine or Montana, are more prone to lingering illness. But the good news, there are powerful ways to boost your immune health, even in your 70s and 80s. Gentle exercise like walking, a colorful plate filled with fruits and vegetables, staying hydrated, staying connected, and getting enough vitamin D, especially in the winter. So if you've been catching colds more often or healing slower than usual, take it seriously. It's not just bad luck, it's your body asking for backup. And you deserve to feel strong and protected all year long. Sign number 2, loss of appetite and unexplained weight loss. Let's talk about food, not just nutrition, but the emotional comfort of it. For years, you looked forward to that morning cup of coffee and toast. You used to enjoy Sunday lunch with your family in Ohio, or a slice of homemade pie in your backyard in Texas. But lately, nothing tastes right. You open the fridge and nothing calls your name. You sit down to eat, but after 2 or 3 bites, you're done. And over a few weeks, your pants feel looser. The scale drops, but you're not trying to lose weight. This is another early sign of health collapse. When appetite disappears for no clear reason, it's often tied to problems with digestion, gut health, or even silent inflammation. In many older Americans, the digestive system slows down after age 65. That means food moves slower, your gut bacteria changes, and certain nutrients don't get absorbed as well. But here's something many people don't realize. Loss of appetite is also a classic symptom of depression in seniors. And in the US, depression in older adults often goes undiagnosed because it doesn't always look like sadness. Instead, it shows up as tiredness, isolation, or just not feeling hungry. If you've been eating less for more than 2 weeks and your weight is going down without effort, pay attention. Malnutrition can weaken your muscles, bones, and immune system, making you more vulnerable to illness. It's not about forcing yourself to eat. It's about figuring out why your body no longer wants fuel and gently bringing it back to balance. Sign number 3, mild confusion or forgetfulness that doesn't feel normal. Everyone forgets things now and then. You misplace your glasses. You forget the name of a movie star. That's part of life, whether you live in California or upstate New York. But what if you forget how to get home from your usual grocery store? Or you start confusing your medication schedule even though you've had the same one for years? This kind of cognitive change is not just senior moments. It could be one of the earliest signs of neurological stress. Doctors call it mild cognitive impairment. And while it doesn't always turn into dementia, it does signal that your brain may be under pressure. Here's the science. As we age, blood flow to the brain may decrease, especially if there are issues with blood pressure, cholesterol, or circulation. If your brain isn't getting the oxygen or glucose it needs, it can't process thoughts or memories as quickly. That's when you start to feel foggy, forgetful, or confused in situations that used to feel easy. Another hidden factor, sleep. When seniors don't get deep restorative sleep, their memory and focus drop sharply. Many Americans over 65 also suffer from sleep apnea without knowing it. That condition starves the brain of oxygen dozens of times a night, even when you're asleep. And finally, there's emotional stress. Grief, loneliness, and fear, especially common after retirement or the loss of a spouse can affect mental clarity more than we realize. If forgetfulness shows up alongside mood swings, sleep trouble, or irritability, it may be time for a cognitive screening. The bottom line is this: your mind is just as important as your body, and early confusion doesn't mean you're losing it. It means something needs attention before it gets worse. Sign number 7, sudden heart flutters or a skip beat. Feeling you're sitting quietly, maybe reading the paper or watching the evening news, and then out of nowhere you feel it. Your heart races, not fast like you just ran a mile, but sudden, unpredictable. It thumps hard, flutters oddly, or seems to skip a beat entirely. For many older adults in the U.S., from California retirees to couples living in quiet neighborhoods of Pennsylvania, this experience can feel alarming. And yet most people try to brush it off. I just got up too quickly, or maybe I didn't sleep well. But when your heart speaks like that, it's wise to listen. Doctors call these episodes arrhythmias or irregular heart rhythms. They often occur when the heart's electrical signals misfire, either speeding things up or slowing them down too much. Sometimes it's tied to age-related changes in the heart muscle. Other times it's due to a lack of essential minerals like potassium or magnesium, which help your heart beat steadily. Now, if the fluttering only happens once and passes quickly, it might not be dangerous. But if it comes with dizziness, lightheadedness, or blurry vision, that's a red flag. Those symptoms mean your brain may not be getting enough blood flow in that moment. And in a country like the US, where emergency care is available in nearly every city, it's better to call your doctor or even visit urgent care than to hope it goes away. Many arrhythmias are manageable with medication, hydration, or minor lifestyle changes, but ignoring them could lead to stroke, fainting, or worse. So if your heart skips, flutters, or races without reason, especially more than once, don't wait. The heart is your engine. Let's keep it running smooth and steady. Sign number 8, feeling less thirsty and urinating, less often than usual. Now let's talk about something quiet but serious: hydration. Most seniors in the US know they should drink water, but not everyone realizes that our thirst signal fades with age. That's right after 65, your body becomes less efficient at telling you when it needs fluid. And because of this, many older adults unintentionally fall into a state of chronic dehydration. You might notice you're not visiting the bathroom as often, or maybe your urine looks darker, more concentrated, but you don't feel especially thirsty, so you assume everything's fine. Here's the problem. The kidneys, the organs responsible for balancing fluid and waste, become less responsive as we age, and certain common medications in the US, like diuretics or blood pressure pills, can further impact this balance. When you don't drink enough, blood volume drops, which makes your heart work harder and your brain function slower. Even mild dehydration can lead to confusion, constipation, low blood pressure, and an increased risk of falls. Worse, you might not realize you're dehydrated until you're already in trouble. That's why it's often called the invisible risk in elder care communities across states like Arizona, where the dry climate hides early signs. A simple routine like sipping water throughout the day, not just at meals, can make a real difference. And foods like watermelon, oranges, or soups can help keep fluid levels up too. If you notice you're peeing less but haven't changed your habits, that's worth discussing with your doctor. Sometimes it's not dehydration, but an issue with kidney or endocrine function. Bottom line, don't wait until you feel thirsty. By then, you may already be behind. Instead, treat water like a medicine, small, steady doses every day. Sign number 9, a sudden drop in mood or interest in life. This might be the quietest and most misunderstood sign of all. You're not in pain. You're not sick. But nothing feels enjoyable anymore. The shows you once watched with your spouse feel dull. The hobbies that used to bring you joy now feel like chores. And slowly, without even noticing, your world gets smaller. You go out less, call friends less. You may still smile, but inside it feels like a light has dimmed. In the US, this emotional withdrawal is incredibly common among older adults, but too often it's seen as just getting old. Here's the truth, it's not normal to feel empty or hopeless for weeks at a time. That's not aging, that's a sign your mental health may be declining. Experts call it late life depression, and it affects nearly 1 in 5 seniors in America. Sometimes it's triggered by grief, loneliness, or chronic illness. Other times it appears without a clear cause, just a deep, quiet fog. And here's where it gets serious. When your mental health dips, your physical health soon follows. You sleep less, eat less, move less. Your immune system weakens. Your risk of falls and memory loss rises. This is what we call a mental health collapse, and it's just as real as any heart condition. Thankfully, it's also treatable. Across the U.S., therapy options have become more accessible, even from home. There are phone check-ins, online support groups, and medications that are well tolerated by older bodies. Sometimes the first step is as simple as telling your doctor, "I don't feel like myself lately." You deserve a life that still feels meaningful, even in your 70s, 80s, or beyond. So if your spirit feels heavy, speak up. Because emotional pain matters too, and help is closer than you think. There's a quiet moment that many older adults in America experience, and it often comes alone, maybe at the kitchen table or in the early hours of the morning. You notice something feels off, not dramatically, not like the scenes in movies, but just different. Your energy isn't the same. Your appetite has faded. You've been waking up tired for weeks, even though you go to bed on time. And you wonder, is this just aging or is something deeper going on? Here's the truth: growing older does bring changes, but those changes should never leave you feeling like a faded version of yourself. So how do you know when it's time to call your doctor? In clinics across the U.S., from rural towns in Iowa to busy centers in Boston, physicians share one piece of advice again and again. If you notice 2 or more changes in your body or mood that last longer than 2 weeks, it's time to check in. Not just one bad night, not a single skipped meal, but a pattern that keeps showing up day after day, week after week. That's your body waving a yellow flag. Many older Americans make the same mistake: they wait too long. They try to tough it out or blame it on getting older. Others search for answers online, reading forums or articles that raise more fear than clarity. But your body is unique, and your story deserves more than a Google search. When you go to your doctor, you don't need all the answers, but it helps to ask the right questions so you get the right support. Here are a few gentle prompts you can take with you. I've been feeling more tired than usual, even with enough sleep. What could be causing that I've lost some weight without trying? Should we check my digestion or thyroid? My mood has been low for weeks and I don't feel like doing the things I used to enjoy. Is this something we should talk about? I've been short of breath during simple chores. Could that be my heart or lungs? I've noticed I'm not as thirsty lately and I'm using the bathroom less. Should we check my hydration or kidneys? These questions aren't signs of weakness. They're signs of wisdom, of listening deeply to your own body. In America, where independence is cherished, many older adults fear being told something is wrong. But the real danger lies in silence, in letting small problems grow into big ones. The earlier you speak up, the more options you have. Often just one visit can uncover a small issue before it becomes something serious. It's not about fear. It's about staying strong for yourself, your family, your future. So the next time you feel uncertain, remember this. You don't have to wait for a crisis to care for your health. Your doctor is not there to scold you. They're there to walk beside you one step at a time. And here in the U.S., where your health system gives you access to that care, use it. You've earned it. And you deserve to feel well, not just okay. Let's make your next checkup not a sign of worry, but a quiet act of strength. Because the best time to listen to your body is before it shouts. If you've listened this far, I want you to take a deep breath and hear this with your whole heart. Your body has always spoken to you through energy, through rest, through small discomforts and quiet changes. And sometimes all it takes is slowing down enough to listen. Here in America, we often feel pressure to push through, to stay strong, to stay silent. But strength doesn't mean ignoring what's going on inside. Real strength is choosing to care before the pain becomes too loud, before the collapse becomes too heavy. Whether you live in the hills of North Carolina or the quiet towns of Oregon, know this: you are not alone in what you feel. Many seniors across the U.S. are quietly facing the same questions, the same fatigue, the same moments of doubt. But there is always something you can do. You can pay closer attention. You can speak up sooner. You can ask for help, not because you're weak, but because you still care about the life ahead of you. So if today's message speaks to you, leave the word hope in the comments. Let it be a promise to yourself that you still believe in better days, in brighter mornings and stronger steps. And if you know someone, maybe a neighbor, a brother, a dear friend who needs this message too, share it with them. Because in this big country filled with stories and second chances, the most powerful medicine we have is knowing we're not walking this path alone.